We've all heard the advice before. There is only one way to build a nest egg large enough to provide the retirement that will surely be needed in the future. The only option is to spend less today in order to save more for tomorrow. For those of us who have children to raise, mortgage payments to make, and perhaps college expenses looming on the horizon, this can be pretty frustrating advice. With so many demands on our dollars today, few remain that can be set aside for future retirement. If you share in this dilemma, then ask yourself this question. If there was a different path to retirement security, one that did not solely depend on the requirement of spending less in order to save more, when would you want to learn about it? After you spent decades struggling to save every last penny? Or would you want to learn about it now when there is still time to build the retirement security you'll need in the future without sacrificing the life you want to live today? During the next few minutes, you will learn about a new and powerful approach that looks at building retirement security not simply as a demand to save more dollars, but as a process that involves time, taxes, and new breakthrough financial instruments that, when combined properly, provide a powerful wealth accumulation and distribution strategy. We call this revolutionary approach to building retirement security the Equity for Life solution. In order to understand how the solution can benefit you, it is important to first consider a few basic truths about money. Think about this bucket as containing all of the money that you have ever had or ever will have in the future. In other words, imagine that the first pennies you received as a child, the dollars you got from your first job, and all of the other money you have ever earned or ever will earn in the future will all at one time or another have started out in this bucket. Add all of these dollars together and the cumulative total will likely be in the millions. Unfortunately, most of these dollars don't stay in our buckets for long. To meet our needs and the needs of our family, a good portion of them must be spent. There are really only two kinds of dollars: dollars spent and dollars saved. The bigger the bucket, the more dollars we have to both spend and to save. Because of this, many of us spend a good deal of time and energy in the pursuit of growing our buckets. One of the largest industries in America, financial services, seemingly exists in the name of helping us grow our buckets. But if you have ever sat down with a broker or financial advisor, you probably already know that their entire focus is usually devoted to the pursuit of increasing the rate of return on the dollars we have saved. You've likely heard the typical advisor's line before. After a brief review of your account statements, the response is usually something like, "With my product or investment, the return on your savings could be much, much greater." One reason that the Equity for Life solution is so different is that it is based on the understanding that attempting to increase rates of return is not the only way or even the best way to grow a bucket. This is because a greater risk of loss often goes hand in hand with the pursuit of greater returns. We believe that a retirement nest egg is simply too important to take a chance on the ups and downs of the stock market or other investment risk that might actually shrink the dollars available in the future. Before you ever change how the money in your bucket is saved or invested, it makes far more sense to first thoroughly examine if opportunities might exist to spend fewer dollars without sacrificing your current standard of living. The goal of the Equity for Life solution is to reduce the dollars spent, not by reducing a person's current lifestyle, but instead by searching for ways to help reduce the enormous amounts of money that a typical family devotes to their two largest expenditures: the amount of income taxes paid to Uncle Sam and the amount of interest paid to bankers. Without question, the largest amount of money that many of us will ever spend will not be consumed for things that increase our standard of living today, and certainly not on saving for our future retirement. Instead, most people spend much more of their money on taxes and interest. Because many of us are destined to pay taxes on all of the dollars that will ultimately flow through our buckets over a lifetime, it's typical to see hundreds of thousands or more siphoned off to pay taxes. And this doesn't begin to consider the enormous additional amounts siphoned off for interest on automobile loans, credit cards, installment debt, and mortgage interest. The traditional financial advisor tries to convince people that the key to building greater wealth, growing bigger buckets, is to change the investments or savings vehicles used. While improving rates of return can help, the Equity for Life solution is dedicated to the concept that safer and more certain opportunities often exist to enjoy greater retirement security if we simply do a better job of managing the debt and the taxes that affect both the growth and the ultimate withdrawal of our retirement savings. The first step in the Equity for Life solution is to assess if a person will likely have adequate income during retirement. This is done by considering existing IRAs, 401ks, and other qualified plan current balances along with any additional savings and other expected income. Then project these account values into the future based on anticipated rates of return. It's only after these projections are made that we can match the estimated value of these future resources against a person's likely retirement income needs, taking into consideration the effects of inflation and future taxes. What often is concluded in this process is an understanding that, even when people struggle to make the maximum contributions to their IRAs and 401ks, and even when they dig deeper to come up with extra money to add to their regular loan payments in an attempt to accelerate their mortgage payoff date, many are destined to still come up short of the income they will one day need for retirement. Earlier, we asked when you would want to know if a more effective retirement funding solution might be available. Here is a similar question. If your projected future income was likely not going to be sufficient to meet your projected future income needs, when would you want to know? In your 70s, 80s, or 90s, when you were just about to run out of money, or today, when there still might be an opportunity to get on a different path with a much more positive potential outcome? When the Equity for Life solution process indicates a potential future retirement income shortfall, a person generally has three possible paths to follow. The first path is to simply ignore this looming retirement income deficit. There is always the possibility that some unanticipated event or circumstance will intercede, with the result that the problem never materializes. A second path is often taken by those who recognize the importance of being more proactive, but the only method they can see is to attempt to cut back even more on the money being spent today, dig even deeper, and try to save even more. There is a third path, the Equity for Life solution. This path uses new and unique financial products to safely leverage the equity locked up in a person's home and converts it into a powerful tax-advantaged stream of wealth that can provide the retirement with security and dignity that will one day be needed. Pursuing this third path can make a significant difference in a person's future, no matter your current age. Whether you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s or preparing for retirement, or in your 60s or 70s and currently retired, the Equity for Life solution might be the best choice, perhaps the only real choice, to have a reasonable chance of building a retirement nest egg large enough to meet your future income needs. The Equity for Life solution is more than just numbers, it's a journey to a place where fears, concern, and despair can be replaced with the promise of hope, security, and peace of mind. But like all journeys, before you begin, you must know where you want to go and how you will get there. You must have a way of checking your progress and knowing if you are getting closer or further away from your desired destination. Lacking this, the journey is left to chance. If you are fortunate, you might prosper, your retirement income needs met, and able to remain self-sufficient for as long as you might live. But without an effective solution, you might face a long and difficult retirement. One where you helplessly stand by as your capital withers and your income fades until you reach a point where you must depend upon the support of those you least want to burden. Taking steps today so that you increase the likelihood that you will not run out of money tomorrow, no matter how many tomorrows you might have, must be your #1 priority. And now, with the Equity for Life solution, it may be possible to enjoy that retirement with the dignity, security, and peace of mind that you deserve. For all of your tomorrows.